Welcome to Past Tutorials. This is the final project for the Scratch section, and today we are going to be making a platformer. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go into Projects and create a new project. Now we are going to name this project Platformer because that's what we are going to be making. And if we go into our sprite, we click Sprite and we go into Costumes, we're going to do a similar thing that we did into our first tutorial video. We're going to zoom in and we are going to actually click that Convert to Vector to make a nice smooth circle. And with this circle, we're actually going to color it. We're going to color it let's go with a nice shade of blue. Okay, there we go. So this is our sprite, and he will be the purpose of this platformer. So basically, a platformer is a type of game where you control your sprite or the main character by arrow keys, and it also has a sort of gravity or physics simulator that helps it when you jump up, it'll drag you back down with somewhat accurate depiction of what gravity would seem like. So we need to get started by making a backdrop, and we are actually going to make the backdrop color black just to make it quite simple. Oop, getting a little close there. We're going to zoom all the way out, convert to vector. Vector is just a way of making everything very clean and non-pixelated. So here we have it. We're just making a simple backdrop with a black outline. That's very important because if it's not black, then the code that we have will not run. So we got to start off first of all by having when the flag is clicked, and we want our sprite to go to x0, y0. So that's going to be the first step. Now we have to make two variables. We have to make x and y. And those will be just two variables. We'll leave them up there so you can kind of see how they move. But now we need a forever loop. So we're going to put a lot of stuff in this forever loop, and basically it's just going to be looping all these series of functions over and over again until you click the red stop sign. But that's not the point of it because we want to keep playing our game for as long as possible, so we're going to keep adding code into our forever loop. So right now we're going to change y by -1. That's going to be our first block. Then we're going to add an if statement. We're going to say if the left arrow key is pressed. Here we go right here. If the left arrow key is pressed, we're going to change x by -1. And then we're going to right click and duplicate that and put it right below. We're going to change this to a right arrow, change x by 1. And that's our first section. Now we're going to say set x to, we're going to drag a multiplying sign out from here, x by 0.9. And we can go down, and we want to say change x by x. So right now we're just changing the variable value. Now we actually need to change the actual x value of our sprite by the value of what we have in our variable. So right below it, we're going to have a series, actually just one if statement. We're going to say if touching color, and we're actually going to say black because we need to set exactly what our color is. We're going to say change y by 4. Now, if we go down, is we can actually duplicate this. We're going to add a little more. We're going to duplicate. We're going to add a little more and saying if touching color black, we're going to change y by -4. We're going to have to put that right there. We're going to say change x by x times -1. Actually, we can duplicate this and just go -1. Now, we need to say if else. We need to get an if else block. We put that right here. And we're going to say if the up arrow is pressed. Here we go. Up arrow. If the up arrow is pressed, we're going to first just put our else statement in. We're going to say else set x to 0. This is just zeroing out. And we're going to say, actually have to put another if else statement in here. inside of the if-else statement. Make sure you put it in correctly because this could mess up your whole program. We're going to put an equal sign in here. We're going to say absolute value of x is equal to x. Now if we go into here, absolute. Then we're going to say set x to -10. And then else set x to 10. And then right above here, we actually have to make sure that we put set y to 15. That'll help the up arrow key work. Now, moving down just a tad, we can put in a block that says change y by the variable y. So that's what we have to do now. We're going to say change. We can do change y. And we're actually going to put that below this one. Change y by y. And we want to say if touching color. We're going to say if touching color. We're going to say touching color black. We can just take that. And we're going to say change y by y minus y times 2. And that seems very complicated, but it all makes sense once you see how it works. Now we're going to say y minus y times 2. We can just pop that out there. And then we could say set y to 0. And then down one, we wanted to say change y by -1. Then we want to do our last one, if, which is going to only allow us to press jump, basically press the up arrow key if we are touching the ground. We're going to say if up arrow keys pressed and touching color, it's going to set our y to 15. And the last block that we need to add is change y. We're going to change our y value by 1. Now, if we have all this put in correctly, we're going to click the flag. Oh, and see, there it goes. Now it's dropping, and see how you can bounce off the walls. And if you look up right where our sprite is now, you can see all the variable values changing. And what you can do with this is you can actually go into the backdrops, and you can click certain squares, and you can fill it in if you, oh, yeah, there you go. We want to fill it in, and we're actually going to make a, let's just make like a nice circle here, and you can make another one up here. There we go, and here we have it. We actually have our one-stage platformer, and you can see how it all works. And that is the end of our Scratch section. So thank you for following along, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next section. Thank you.